like it better when it was in July. I got to go visit 5 times for free.
It is 6 o'clock. We will open with roll call. Mr. Oglesby?
Here.
Mr. Tracy?
Here.
Ms. Jordan? Mr. Harding?
Yes.
Mr. Laturner? Ms. Jackson?
Here.
Neil's turn to figure out. If you all join in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on the agenda, we have meeting minutes from April 7th.
I'll make a motion, we approve the meeting minutes and put them on file.
We have a motion by Neil Oglesby to approve the minutes and place on file.
Second.
Second by Rick Tracy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have bills to pay, $186,011.50. Any questions on the bills?
Looks like our general liabilities. was the
Took a
ones.
big one, yeah.
Yep. Basically across the board.
Yeah. Please note that Councilman Laturner joined us at 6:01.
I'll make a motion, we appropriate the funds and pay the bills.
Second.
We have a motion by Neil Oglesby, a second by Rick Tracy to pay the bills. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have a hearing up. This is 0000 Kings Circle. So this is the trailer that was discussed. So we are officially going to open the hearing. Do we have anybody here to speak on? Okay, come on up, thanks, ma'am.
So on the notice on the door, I'm again, essentially the owner of the trailer. It is alleged that the trailer is uninhabitable and dangerous. Neither are, Sasha, sorry. Neither are which the case. The inside's been completely remodeled. Unfortunately, I only have pictures on my phone. If one or two of you want to see the inside, I can show you. The mobile home was on my property down the road outside city limits. I had the intentions of selling the property potentially. I sold the mobile home back in August, and I gave the buyers 60 days to move it. I actually ended up giving them about 6 months. They paid a mobile home mover $6,000 in cash. He ended up jerking them around, never came and moved the mobile home. So with that, I am now moving closer to selling my property. My mother had actually offered the buyers, because I'm at work so much, it's hard for me to handle stuff, especially during business hours. She offered for them to move the trailer to her property, which is actually 815 East 21st. The buyers paid to have it moved from my place to hers, so that way it's freeing me up so I could sell my property, which I did, and it's all done. Then we get the notices on the door, from city ordinances and whatnot. So mid last week, the buyers told me that they are kind of just tired of trying to deal with it, trying to get somebody to move it to where they need it to go. So they've relinquished it back to me. I filed for a duplicate title, and I'm waiting on that to come in so that way I can then take care of the matter. It was only there temporarily until they were able to get it moved. It is very ugly on the outside, but it's not dangerous, it's not uninhabitable.
Well, our ordinance states like no mobile home, single wide mobile. So it's not really necessarily just the look, it's there is none at all. So how long are you thinking that this process is gonna take? Because it's been on the property for probably over a month now. I mean, that's roughly just a guesstimate, but over a month. So that's a long time for that to sit and nothing happened.
Well, and again, a lot of it was because we thought that the buyers were going to be moving it, and then my mom actually corresponded with them last week and found out they're tired of dealing with it. So that's when I then went and got a new title. I'm waiting on that to come in. I would ask no more than 45 days. I hope to have it out sooner than that, but that's just just in case.
Okay, other discussion, questions?
It's not supposed to be there at all though, right?
Right.
So to grant 45 more days for something that shouldn't be allowed to be there at all. And I understand how confusing things like this could be, because, you know, sometimes you just don't know until you do something. I'm just gonna store this on this property that I own, and then with the intentions of selling it later. But to grant 45 more days for something that shouldn't be there at all, I don't know how we could proceed with doing that.
Have we had any complaints on neighbors or anything?
Lots. That's kind of that's how I first
That's
found out
what
about it,
brought it
was
up.
phone calls the day it happened.
We had this happen once before, 3 months ago, and the day that lady was pulling her trailer down the road to 16th Street, we were getting bombed with phone calls, and she had to move it the next day. So,
And from the police side of you, we notified the day that it got moved in and was still hooked up to the truck, which was March 17th. I believe your mother was notified at that time that, because it was still hooked up, that those wasn't allowed to be there, and, here we are.
And forgive me, I am just trying to clean it up, get it out,
Yeah.
but I know that she did reference, and I don't have it in front of me, where certain things, including mobile homes, were allowed, but then there's also kind of like a contradicting ordinance where it says that they're not. I don't know, like I said, I don't have that to reference in front of me. I'm just trying to, just after some time to get it cleaned up, because as of right now, it's not a small thing to move and keep paying, you know, to have moved, so.
do you have a plan of where to move it, or you're getting this title and trying to sell it?
Yes, that's what I'm doing, I'm actually giving it to somebody so that way they can get it moved, and I have to wait on the title to come back, so.
Other discussion? Questions for Sasha? Okay, we will officially close the hearing. So then we need to decide what action you would like to take. She says she thinks it can be done within 45 days. Like Rick said, it's against ordinance. What would you like to do? City Attorney, could you give us some guidance on what our options are?
I think, she's trying to apply for a variance to our ordinance, so she'd have to come in and KFB and apply for a variance and have a meeting and present a plan and.
What's the variance for? You need to go ahead and read it there?
Because she's asking that it be left there for 45 days, which is asking for us not to follow the code for 45 days.
Yeah, I think it's gotta go. And unfortunately, you know, just to bring it in, even knowing that there might have been some concern of whether it was legal to bring it in or not, you know, and set it there. Probably some more questions should have been asked before we just set it on somebody's yard.
I'd be more open to allow a variance if it was something we were talked about from the word go, but I mean, at a particular point where we notified basically
Right,
when
was
it
still hooked
happened.
up to the
Yeah,
vehicle.
so, I mean, at this particular point here, I'm kind of leaning that direction too. I think we probably just need to get it gone sooner rather than later.
So what would that look like? If that's the way council wished to go?
And then that's then they can start citing for environmental tickets, you know. It's not moved. I think you need to be very clear, you know. It's not moved tomorrow, I get a ticket, 7 days, you know, you've gotta be very specific.
Is there a fine and a ticket process? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Is there like a ticket, like you get a speeding ticket and a fine assessed to it if it's not moved, or what's the
Should be
process
more of an
there?
environmental code violation. I mean,
I thought, I read in the
Technically.
paperwork we had last meeting that there was some kind of fine associated with leaving it longer than it's
technically,
supposed to be there.
they could move it as well, which would be an expense, you know, on the city where you take it and that type of thing. I mean, I've seen some places call a tow and have it like removed forcefully and taken to a tow yard and then pay for that. So those are options.
Well, understanding that, you know, someone like me probably didn't know it was against the rules, or, you know, just applying like me. But now we do know it is against the rules, and I certainly don't wanna exploit the situation for, you know, to fine somebody for something they didn't understand fully before it happened. Can we give a it's gotta be gone 2 weeks and then you get a fine? Could we go that route? 14 days?
Whatever you vote on, you know.
Whatever you vote on.
So, you know, I mean, you understand the lead times on trying to get anything done, I'm sure we all understand. So it's not like you can call somebody tomorrow and then come get it tomorrow. But I understand you can get people to move wide, and I would imagine, you know, 2 weeks' time would be plenty of time to get somebody in there to move it. And then we can assess, hey, you know,
I mean, maybe it's been sitting there for a long time too already, but
but we're just now deciding that it has to go, right? And I don't know what that side, is that incorrect?
No, they were notified.
They've got multiple notices that it, and it's the fine amount, what I believe is anywhere from $50 to $500 a day, depending on what the judge sets it to
Yeah,
be.
they have to have a redemption period still.
Yeah.
So it's still,
well, that's true.
so it's still
And then you said it was March,
an immediate.
Yeah, March 17th
You can
was,
do that in
the first
conjunction
day.
with
when they were notified?
tickets
Yes.
and, you know.
In the meantime.
So they've known about this for over a month.
1 month.
Yeah. Well, we was at the meeting, you know. and it
So,
was 2 weeks
so
ago.
if the council proceeds to vote to condemn, there would be the redemption period of, what is that?
Well, it's what you said it
Well,
at.
we set it at, so that could be 2 weeks, it could be 30 days, so that's, as we've done before, we condemn it. At the end of that redemption period is when, because we, you know, if it's a house, an actual house, we've done it before, we would go ahead and open up for bids. If they make the improvements, by that date, we've seen it before where they come in and say, here are the pictures, here's what we've done. Our building inspector goes in and says yes or no, and we move forward from that date. So that would be similar. It's, you know, again, we can set the time period to have the date, and then anything after that, we can move forward with removal of our own, finding, those types of things.
And it's already been 30 days, and the parties were notified that it wasn't supposed to be there, so they've known about it for 30 days and it still stayed there the whole time.
It's
Well, that was we notified the property owner. She's the one that came and said, it's not mine, I'm not.
She's not the her mom's the property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we
She's the owner of the
said,
trailer.
we need to notify her then, even though it's the property, you know.
Yeah.
Just to be safe, notify her, and we tabled it for today, so she got that
So she was
notice
notified.
here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what date was she notified is really, her mom was notified 30 days ago, I don't know what day she got notified.
So we need to decide whether you want to vote to condemn or not. And then if that is the case, if you don't want to condemn, then it ends here and the trailer stays and it's no big deal and we deal with the other complaints that we get from the neighbors. That's how that would go. If we do condemn, we decide on the redemption period, I guess, for action to take place.
Well, there's no fixing it to make it habitable because it's illegal for it to be there.
Correct.
Right, so condemn's the only option, it's not just a, hey, move it. It's not an
Unless it's a
option.
variance.
Mhm.
Like
I think
Candy
she wants
said.
to say something.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
And just an FYI, I was not notified, until well after the notices were put on the door, cause, you know, I'm at work all the time, and usually by the time I get home, it's dark. So, you know, I don't go to that side of the property too often, so I was not even officially notified, to be honest with you.
So did your people talk to somebody when it was still hooked up to the tractor?
So I believe it's her mom.
Oh, okay, and your mom
The
didn't tell
property
you
owner.
that?
She told me that they were there, that there was, some commotion about it, but, as far as
We're
what needed to be
getting
done at
less
that
than
time.
3-4 complaints a day on it right now.
Mhm.
So,
There's that guy here in town that buys mobile homes, you ought to just call him, he can haul it out there now and be done with it.
Well, I'll take that number.
I'll get it for you.
So,
Maybe that's an option.
would you like it to condemn or?
I'd like to condemn.
Yeah.
But you can't just vote to condemn, you have to have the hearing.
That's
She
what-
wants to present evidence.
That's what we did. Then I closed the hearing. Or you opened it and closed it.
We were all there.
It was here. Am I crazy or did I not open a hearing and?
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to present the evidence and it's,
Oh, can I say, do I just need to say accept the evidence
Yeah.
as presented?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
in that wording, is that okay?
right, and then she wanted, had evidence she wanted to present before you vote, right?
Do you want to present, would you like to present your pictures?
They're on my phone, because I don't have, like, physical printouts, that's all that I've got. But I could bring them at another point.
Okay, so what do you want to do with
Do
that?
we have a recommendation to condemn?
We had that last time.
Okay, well, I'd like to accept the recommendation to condemn with the 10-day.
Okay, hang on,
Well, I don't know what you think.
hang on a second.
But she can pass them the photo.
Yeah,
She
would
just has
you-
a right to have her.
Would you
hearing
like
and
us to
have
see
her
the
say.
pictures? Okay,
Did the code inspector go out there, or
Yes,
maybe it's from the
yes,
outside?
all that happened last meeting,
So,
yeah.
okay, so from the outside, he said this, because he didn't go in.
You don't have to,
Yeah.
it can never be brought up to code.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tra-
okay.
single trailers in general are against code, yes.
Gold plate, everything in there.
Where do we have to start?
Okay, yeah, you can start with the guy in the green shirt's a council member.
You guys maybe just
I'm glad I'm
together.
You just scroll through those.
She's the right to have, first of all, she's the right to have her hearing and present her evidence, we can't cut her off.
Yeah, I mean, it's very nice on the inside, there's no question there, I mean.
We'll do two for here.
You're more trusting than me to hand over your phone like that with pictures open.
That's on Facebook, and I don't
We
have
lost
anything
it, we don't know
online.
what we're doing here. Where'd it
Oh,
go?
so
We
you
lost it,
messed
I'm
up.
sorry,
Any other weekend?
we got bad fingers over here. I did it again.
Oh my God.
Sorry!
Just don't let her, you just need to let her drive for
You're
you.
telling.
You just told him to walk around.
Just trying to do that. Oh, here, I'll just not touch it.
No, it's very nice. Huh?
Go back.
Are we thinking of the same guy for the trailer game? West Valley Holdings?
No, that's not it. I was thinking somebody who could pick it up tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So you down there by Robert's house?
Oh, he probably could be.
Doors are open.
Hey, Mr. Ward, could you come up and present, I mean, just let us know what your findings or witness, what you witnessed there, just so we
Yeah,
have
so
it down.
whenever I was notified about the whole deal, it was on March 17th at approximately 12:50-ish, give or take, about a mobile home being brought in. I went out there, Miss Rayna was outside, I made contact with her, I let her know per our city ordinance, 16306, Section B, mobile home placement, no single wide mobile home shall be located in any area within the corporate limits of the city of Galena unless such dwelling is within a mobile home park. And she notified me that it was not her trailer and that it was her daughter's and that she would notify her daughter that day and give us a call. And so we waited and waited and waited. Nothing ever came about it. And so we sent Catherine a 10-day notice of the violation, in which the letter got returned back to us saying that it could not be delivered at her address at the 815 East 21st. And yeah, other than that, we've been just getting calls and complaints about it daily, on a daily basis, constantly. And it, I mean, it plainly states right there in the city codes that it can't be there. And I don't see why we'd make exceptions for that whenever somebody else would bring one in, they had to have it moved by the next day.
And then, do you have the date, or do you remember, Chief, when we had it put on the door? I mean, that's,
No, I know that Officer McCool also talked to Miss Rayna on the phone.
Which, is her last name Rena as well?
Catherine Rayna is
Okay.
the
Catherine is the
property
property
owner, where
Right.
the,
So daughter as
I
well.
understand she owns it, but the property owners who,
What was her name? It's not Rena?
what's your last name?
Embry? Embry, okay. I was making sure when you say Miss Rena, which one?
And we know who we're talking about, yeah.
Okay,
so, yeah, so Miss Rayna was, Officer McCool personally had talked to her on the phone and said, hey, we have your, the copy of everything, and, you have to get it moved, and she was told on at least two occasions once in person and one by phone again, that it needed to be moved by Autumn McCool, one of my officers as well.
And then since the last council meeting, one was posted on the door.
Correct,
On
there
the
is
door.
one posted on the.
We had one posted on the back door, and we posted one on the front door, on the trailer as well.
Anything else you would like to add?
No.
Chief, anything else you would like to add?
No, like the officer said, like, we're getting multiple calls a day, and then I understand that it's a kind of a bad situation, but if that's outside your front door and you gotta look at it every day, I think it's kinda with it, I mean, it's not I mean, I know the pictures of the inside of it are fine, but we're not here about what it looks like on the inside or the outside. It's illegally there, so. I mean, and the citation is, like, and I believe it's the fine ranges, and we could have been citing this whole time, and we haven't, but the fine range is $50 to $500 a day, per day.
Per day?
Per day.
It's up to the judge to set
It could
the
be
fine.
cited per day from 50
And that's the
to
environmental
500.
code ticketing process we were talking about, which is separate from this. That's what that is.
And you said that's set by the judge?
Yes,
The
sir.
judge decides it, okay. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. So we will accept, the findings from both the, police chief and the code enforcement officer and Mrs. Embry. Did I say that right? Okay. To go with our hearing. Is that right, Candace? Okay.
And when they vote on that, that's the redemption period. So we need to-
Yes, okay. So if you would like to move forward with condemnation, there has to be a redemption period, which means just set amount of time to give the owner time to rectify the situation. In this case, which would mean moving the trailer, having it moved some sort of way, and we can set that time period. So one would be to decide if you want to move forward with condemnation, and if that is a yes, what the redemption period, how many days, weeks that would be.
Condemnation and 10-day redemption period, that way by the next meeting, we'll be able to do one thing. You know, the redemption period will be up, we tell Josh to do what he does with it.
Is that in a motion?
That's a motion. If you-
Okay, so it would be resolution 25-06.
I'm gonna second that.
So we have a motion by Bob LaTurner to move forward with resolution 25-06. And then to allow with that a 10-day redemption period. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. That was a second by Lauren Harding. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Melissa Rhodes. And Jacob Bridges, I don't know who else wants to come up with you.
If he wants to.
I can if you want.
Hey, I am so excited to be here. I'm gonna send over around my business card. And these are my old ones because I don't have my new ones yet. I'm a community block development grant, administrator. And, we are working with Jacob Bridges on his building. And it's in order to do the best job that we can do. And myself and our team here from Southeast Kansas Rural Development Association, the best job that we can do is to make sure he's in a good light, or anybody else here that wants our services. But at some point in time, it's going to take this council to help him out at the end. First off, we're looking at a HEAL grant that will do a lot of the building, new roof, HVAC, electrical, plumbing for that building.
Is this the building down across from Cars?
Yes.
The Smith and Royal building.
He's got a lot of great plans. Jacob came to us through Small Business Development and Daisha Clark, because she has an area of expertise, and then we have the connection with the Department of Commerce for the grant funding. So our initial grant funding will actually be a brownfield, which is through Health and Environment. And they will come in and check for, lead paint and asbestos and anything else, since at one point in time, that was a gas station. They will look for anything. The state will come in, they'll do the assessments, they'll do the remediation. And at the same time, we will also apply for the HEAL grant, which is, in his case, it's gonna be an emergency HEAL because we've got you had some wind damage, that came in and did some damage. So it falls under that. After all of that is done, he will be able to qualify for CDBG and under commercial rehabilitation, and that will finish off. That'll be $300,000 that comes in and finishes off, and that's grant money because the match. Usually, when you're looking at a CDBG, a community or a county has to apply for that. As a nonprofit, I can apply on his behalf for everything else, but when it comes into CDBG, I'm the administrator, but it has to be approved by you guys, by the council. There will be no financial expectation from the county or from the city, because the way that the grants are done strategically, all the matches will be there, and he'll have to put just a little bit of money out of his pocket. But I just want you to be aware that probably within the next 9 months or so, I'm going to be coming back here with Jacob and saying, we're at the point now where we have finished these phases, and now we're on to phase three, which will be the commercial rehabilitation for that building. It's a win-win for you guys because you don't have any skin in the game, and that's going to create a much better building for your tax base. And it's going to be, you guys have got such potential there. We drove down and we're like, this is great. This is great because there's so much money out there through the Department of Commerce that you can use to rehabilitate a lot of the buildings that you have downtown. And
I'm thinking you should give me a bunch of these cards, because there's other people that are down there wondering how to get a hold of this money that might help them better.
And we are, right now, there's, Crawford County doesn't apply, there's some more, and they've got cards. You got cards?
I brought cards.
See, we've got cards. Right now, there's a $25,000 seed grant that's available with a 10% match. And that's for your city. If you have, if you need a community something, maybe you need to do some rehabilitation on your community center. There's a community center in Crawford County that right now needs a new HVAC. But Crawford County has expended their seed money, so they're gonna have to wait for the new year. The new fiscal year for the state starts July 1. So if there's anything that you guys need help with as far as your community, if it's major, if it's little, we also do USDA, rural development. Right now I'd be sticking away from USDA rural development grants because we've had so many pulled. We've had several pulled in Crawford County where they've been frozen for a little while. And usually those are, you do it and we will reimburse you. So we have a lot of people that have done what the government promised to give them. They've already done that. They built buildings and now they're kind of stuck paying for that because those funds have been frozen.
So you mentioned like low and high. What would be a low end?
Low end what?
Like amount. You said you do small and large. What would be small?
Oh yeah, we can help you with sewer. We can help you with probably any of your infrastructure. And we have a team in Topeka that works with us. Right now, CDBG, you can get a large something that you have to do with infrastructure, maybe a fire department, And this is the year, if you want a fire truck, seldom. I've been doing this for 10 years and I've never seen it come up. But this is the year to get a fire truck through CDBG. So if that's something that's on your wish list, now's the time to do it because it might not show up for another 15 years.
So it gives you stipulations of what qualifies and what doesn't, or?
When we talk about the fire truck, it's never been on our list. We've asked for it, and we're kind of like, because Department of Commerce is a little fluid. So we've asked for it, and this year when we had our conference earlier in the year, they said, the powers that be said, now is the year to apply for fire truck, CDBG for fire truck.
What does
And your match, community block development.
So that's how we did our Main Street. Through
Right.
CDBG.
Almost anything, CDBG, large, helps, small things, because they've kind of reorganized it a little bit. So you can have a large thing and you can have a small thing. A large thing is something that you need. A smaller thing is something that you might want. Smaller thing might be a library.
Per community.
For community.
So what would be something large? Money-wise, what are you talking?
Money-wise, large, $750 to $1 million on some things.
That is large. Yeah.
Yeah, it's large.
Yeah.
It's large.
So you said we would have zero liability if we.
For him,
right.
For him,
So
for the strategic plan that we have, because of what happens, how the brownfield works, because the state pays for that, and how his hill works, because brownfield is state money, hill, which is historic, economic, I'm not really sure what it stands for. Hill is also state money, and so whenever you have a match with state money, that money goes together, and then that is your match for your CDBG. So, for reference, a brownfield will pay up to about $70,000. An assessment might run $20,000. The remediation can run up to $50,000. They will stop at $50,000. I believe for your square foot of your building, living space is about $40 a square foot for the rehabilitation for lead and asbestos. All right, so there, worst case scenario, you're looking at $70,000. When you go to the hill, the E-hill or the hill, which comes in for roof, HVAC, windows, plumbing, electrical. All right, that grant is up to $200,000, but it's a dollar for dollar match. You have to have a $100,000 match to go with the $100,000 that the state will grant you. When we go back to that brownfield, worst case scenario, the state has already put in $70,000 on that remediation and that assessment. That $70,000 now transfers to your hill as the match. So if you've got to put in $100,000 for your match, out of pocket, you're out of pocket $30,000. So now we go to the CDBG, which you guys have to apply for. We take care of it, but now he's done his match, his $100,000 match for his E-hill, done the 70, put the 30,000 in. Now, the most you can get on a CDBG for commercial rehabilitation for a business is $300,000. That match is 25%. So that match is $75,000. That $100,000 over here goes toward that $75,000. So he's getting that $300,000, and he's already made the match back here. And that's why we talked strategy.
And why does the city have to apply for
The
it?
city and county are the only ones that can apply for CDBG.
Okay.
I can apply because I'm an economic nonprofit. We can apply for the brownfield. We can apply for the hill because you have to be an economic nonprofit or a city or a county to apply for any of those, a government. But I cannot because we're the administrators. You can look me up on the deal on KDOC and it'll say Melissa Rose and my address and number. We are the grant administrators. So then we make sure all your I's are crossed, your T's are dotted, and that you have gone through all of the requirements that you need. Did I say I's are, whatever. The book is this
That's not
thick.
how we go anyway.
The book is this thick of rules and regulations, and we make sure that you follow them. Now, right now, we don't charge anything. We're just getting started. I've been a grant administrator for 10 years, but we just started our nonprofit to really kind of put it to use. We found out that the other organization in Chanute charges you to join the club, and then they charge you $3,000 to write a grant. We're kind of like, if you get the grant, if I help you write the grant, and we all get the grant, then you pay me, because the state says I can pull in a percentage. There's a percentage, because you have to have a grant administrator put it in, enter the application, and I'm the only one here that has access to that.
So, you said you'll be back in about 9 months.
Probably in about 9 months.
So if he were to default on the CDBG, if we went through and did the application but he defaulted at some point, we still would have no liability?
You have
We
no
aren't on the hook
liability.
for it at
You
all?
have no liability.
So if we make the application and it's granted to him, but then we want to do another application for something within the city, that's
You
not
would be
going to
able-
hinder?
No, it won't, because you will still be able to do that, because this is commercial rehabilitation. And as long as everyone is in good standing, you can keep going. They just look to make sure everything is in good standing. I would not, and I will tell you, if we do a grant, a CDBG, and we do all that work, and then someone says, I'm not taking the money, I'm suing them. Because it's a lot of work, to get all of that done. And we have the ability that we can put our grant applications together. I can send them to the Department of Commerce, and they edit them, and then they send it back to me before we submit it.
Okay.
So the team, all 3 of them, they've seen it twice when they make that determination.
Okay.
What are the plans for the building?
Yeah.
The pictures are awesome, but I'm gonna let you talk about that.
So I purchased it in January. I own a contracting company doing residential contracting, specializing in insulated concrete forms, kind of a specialized type of construction. More suited for this area with tornadoes and stuff like that. It's kind of a disaster resilient home. It's concrete walls, and then the trusses are all tied into it. Anyways, I just do disaster resilient type of residential construction. A little bit of a niche market. Hopefully it starts growing. But I bought the building back in January just to use it as an office, fix it up as time goes by. I mainly needed the warehouse space. The guy I bought it from said there was a new roof put on it in like 2010, so I just thought it was a big, dry building. Didn't know it was historical at all, and then just kind of been falling down this path. I met Renee across the street. She filled me in on everything with the building, and every time I'm up there on the weekends doing stuff or throughout the week, there's tourists all the time taking a picture of the side of it. So I think it's cool. I have 2 young sons, 3 years old and 1 year old. They watch cars on repeat every single day basically. So it's cool to be able to see the building in the movie. No idea any of that whenever I bought it. I was just driving around looking to find a building. So I basically plan to renovate it, still use it as warehouse space, and then make the front left section into just an office space with a conference room where I can meet clients, a showroom, showing my ICF products, and then how you finish them out with different types of finishes and stuff like that. So basically just use it for my business.
And it's in concrete?
Do what?
Would you say it was concrete?
Yeah, it's insulated concrete form, so it's a form that just stays in place. So it's 2.5 inches of styrofoam on both sides. You pour 6 or 8 inches of concrete in the middle, and then you just take the bracing off. The 2.5 inches of styrofoam stays on both sides. So it's a really super insulated type of structure. It withstands up to 200 mile per hour plus winds, which is kind of why I got into it. I didn't know why people weren't using that system more. But But I started using the system about 3 or 4 years ago and just keep picking up work using it. I just finished a storm shelter, stripped the bracing off of that one today, and then I've got a 2-story home starting in May. So
Are
just
you gonna be mixing concrete there?
No, it's just the styrofoam and the plastic and stuff. It's just the forming materials.
Will there be big trucks going in and out of there as far as contracts and stuff like that go? Is that gonna be your primary source of operation?
Yes, it'll be my primary source of operation. If I get busier, there might be a semi-truck once every month or two. But there's also a dock in the back. It used to be a lumber yard. I'm just gonna fix that dock up and have them back up to it, unload it real quick, and then have them pull out.
Is that road back behind there, is it rated for semi-trucks?
Which one? You're talking about short?
So yeah, like if you go right across from cars and you go right across the street, that's like a residential road back there. There's a lot of signs around town that say no
Short
trucks
Street
here.
probably isn't rated. I know the bridge
It'd
is.
be front.
It'd be front and
Front,
Clark.
yeah.
Front Street.
It'll be front and short, because he's on the west side of the road.
You're on the west side of the road or the east side of the road?
The west side of the road.
Yeah.
Sure. Across
West
from
side of
cars
the
on
main.
roof.
Yeah,
It's
on
the
the
big
east side of
Smith and
Main
Weller
Street.
building, has the tent
Don't
up
drive
top,
there.
the green building. But I'm not sure if it's rated or not, but the semi-trucks will be holding the semi-truck full of styrofoam. So it's not heavy by any means. We're not pouring concrete there. It's just styrofoam and plastic.
What's your cost per square foot on a building like that?
Like the total residential builds.
Yeah.
So like a normal stick frame house, you can usually build it like just a typical one, around $110 a square foot cost. You can sell them anywhere from $130 to $150. This is more of a $140 a square foot cost, and then you can sell it for about $180 a square foot. The cost of the forming system is about $5 to $7 a square foot of wall coverage, wall square footage, and then the total cost with the concrete and labor and bracing and everything like that is about $20 to $22 a square foot for the ICF walls. And then you can get. Yeah.
Me, I want one.
I think it sounds good.
Yeah, what I tell everybody is storms happen. We live right in Tornado Alley. It's just a matter of where they hit and who they affect. So we saw one go through Claremore a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago last year, and then there was high winds yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's gonna happen. So it just gives people peace of mind when they're living in their house.
Sure. So we'll look forward to hearing from you soon.
When we're to the point where we're getting ready for the CDBG, we'll do the brownfield, that'll take 4 months. And we will do the hill, at the same time, we'll file at the same time. But I noticed when we drove downtown, you have a lot of second-story buildings. I don't know if you've seen in Pittsburgh, but there is, commercial rehabilitation through CDBG for those people as well. If you wanna put, apartments, a lot of people are doing, short-term rentals.
So, I think,
We'll
I
talk about
think,
this later.
well,
Get
I
back
think
on the
Jamie's
agenda.
going to,
I'm gonna make a call to the agenda, so.
hang
we're
on,
pretty
hang
much-
on.
No, I'm making
hang
a call
on.
to the agenda, I'm pretty much over it.
So we will, have Jamie talk to some business owners, but I will probably email you tonight, because I already have department heads, saying, hey, we got some projects in mind that maybe we can benefit from some of these from.
Sure.
So, I'll shoot you an email, I'll include the department heads, so we all know kind of what that process looks like. And can you keep us in the loop? I mean, you don't have to every step, but that way it gives us a little heads up of when the next thing,
Right,
when we can
start.
expect you, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
The agenda.
All right. Let's do department heads. Police department.
Okay, we got, our staff for the last 2 weeks, we responded to 74 calls for service. Approximately 11 reports taken, four drug arrests, 1 DUI arrest, and 2 other misdemeanor arrests. Animal control was, utilized 9 different, times for animal complaints. We have our newest employee, she started the police academy today. So that's a 14-week program, so hopefully we'll get her back here, get her through that FTO program and get her out there filling one of the voids that we have. And I have a meeting tomorrow with Enterprise on their leasing program, and so I would like to, maybe look at maybe next council meeting, bringing him in, my guy that I've been working with there, so he can kind of explain the process to you all. And I'm trying to get us to where we can at least get 3 vehicles added to our fleet right now, because we're in desperate need of getting some replaced. So I would like for him to come along maybe next council meeting and kind of explain to you how that looks going forward, so we don't get where we're behind on vehicles, and keep everybody, so we have vehicles to respond to calls and do what we need to do. Other than that, that's about where we're at.
Good, sounds great. City Clerk's Office. City Superintendent.
Couple of updates. We've got our insurance claim for the building. I reached out to them this morning because we haven't had anything to look at the roof on the building, so we're hoping by the end of this week we'll have the report all read and adjusted from the insurance company on that. We had more storm damage yesterday, mostly up in Empire, most of the trees, power poles and phone poles. I've got those all called in. We're going to be working on debris removal again this week. Of course, today we had 2 trash routes, so we weren't able to start on them yet, but we may have got 1 or 2, I don't know. And then I'm working with Algar and Martin to try to figure out how to fund our lead service line, the replacement that's going to be coming up soon. They're looking into some programs that can find us some funding for that. There might have been one today. Yeah, I think I will. No, just updates.
All right, Fire Department.
Just a couple FYs, we're at 150 calls so far. That's pretty much where we were at last year at this time. The storm that came through yesterday, we did set the sirens off. We were actually watching the radar, and our radar has the ability to watch velocity. So we did see a little bit in Baxter before they actually issued the warning, but we're not going to issue set the siren until we actually get confirmation from the Weather Center. So when we did that, the storm was like right on top of us, basically. So I don't know how many people took advantage of, going to shelter to the or not, but Baxter didn't even set their sirens off once they went on the warning.
Yeah, it was past my house when it went off. By the way, my siren's not working in Empire.
It's not working? Yeah.
Didn't hear, I could hear the fire whistle, but I couldn't hear mine, so.
So I know we've got a few calls today about, we set it off basically the time we got notified, and that's pretty much by protocol that we go through, so.
It was moving quickly, it was like 55 miles an
It was
hour.
super quick.
So.
I was outside, and the next minute I'm under the cover, and it's blowing. That was right there.
And then we've got, with Galena Days coming up, the 5th, 6th, and 7th of June, we probably need to ask for permission to use the front lot. I don't know, it's too early if we need to wait, but the City Hall lot.
Might as well. June 5, 6, 7, Galena Days. Basically the whole municipal complex, really.
So motion.
Second. We have a motion by Bob LaTurner to give permission to use the city property for Galena Days. A second by Jamie Jackson. All in favor? Any opposed?
And then if she was serious about applying for a vehicle, I would do that, and I'll give Chief a fire truck that he can use for a police car, so.
There you go.
I've always wanted to drive.
Painted blue.
So, yeah.
I really am gonna email her
That's
and get a little more information. I'll include all you guys and see what that looks like.
That's all I've got.
Okay. So I have a couple things. There was a gentleman, let me pull up my email. He, let's see, how to get his name. Michael Narks, and he operates a charitable car event. It's going to be coming through Galena, the last weekend of June, June 27th. So he says the request is to host a block party. He said there will be 200 plus cars and 500 plus participants. That's what he said. So they would only be here for the evening. Really all he's requesting is that we have some roads blocked off. Kind of sounds like car show type event, so they can park. bring some merchandise, utilize the restaurants, that type of deal. So he said they would kick off about 5 p.m. and it would all be shut down by 10. So if we want to do that, if you would, I did a little bit of emailing back and forth with him today. He said if we wanted to, he could come up and speak to us. He lives in Bentonville, so if you would
What
rather
area is he looking to close down?
he was thinking by Gearheads because that's one of their stops, and just 2 blocks, so up to Grace.
From the park to the 7th Street?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that gonna block off all the other businesses too?
Well, right
You
there.
set some detailer signs up for them.
At 5
For
o'clock,
what
everybody's
business?
closed.
Yeah.
It's the only one open.
That one fella, he
Meet and
always
greet.
has a fit about this kind of stuff. So I think
Oh,
this
at
guy,
Gearheads.
I think this guy will come up and.
Come up first.
Yeah.
I can say that. Ask him if he can come up. Maybe our next meeting. Everybody okay with that? Okay. The other thing I have. Oh, sorry.
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
was talking loud to her.
The other thing I have, I'm going to hand out. I have some bids. So there has been some non-stop problems with the roof at the library. Right, Mrs. Bash. So for not just recent, it's been a while going. So Tracy asked for some bids, and so we got those in. Because there's been several things like replacing the carpet because of the leak, things like that happen. So we do have 4 bids here. I'm gonna let you look at them and take a minute. But especially in the middle of storm season, I hate to forego doing something. Were you in there today at all?
No, I didn't go down and check today before I
Okay,
came.
I didn't know after the heavy rain yesterday if there was.
I would
anything.
imagine that the front end, this is where we have so many problems, and then, of course, we had the leaks in the ceiling. And then the front end, the water just comes in like 10, 12 feet into the library. It goes in both directions.
Not from the roof though, or that is from the roof.
I'm sorry.
From the roof or from the ground?
Well, the water comes in there, so we have a leak there, and then we have the roof. We had to put plastic over the tables and over the books.
Because of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there are 4 bids here. There is, let me see what the name of this one is. Weatherproof Pro Roofing is one. If you see that one, it's the darker looking one.
All of ours. I don't think we have darker ones.
Oh, maybe that was just mine, how to print it off. That total was $17,550, and it tells there what all it does: remove and installation of library roof. Bridgewater roofing is $16,798.78, and again, I'll give you some time to check it over. Superior Roofing, $16,609.11. And the 4th is a Millwood. I don't know if that's construction or company, for $16,398 even. So they're all pretty close.
None of this is covered by insurance?
No. Nope. Tracy reached out to them, and I could see for sure what she said, but no, it's not. I think it was because there wasn't a certain storm or something, yes, to attribute it to, yes. And even, I think it was not yesterday, but maybe it was the last major storm that we had, tried to see if some of that could, maybe go into that, and they said no. But one of the things, and I don't know if Neil tried to whisper this to me or not, but this is how I interpreted it, was the grant the lady was talking to, maybe that's something, is that what you were saying? Okay, that's how I interpreted it, but I wasn't sure. But maybe move forward with that and then say, because she talked about paying and then reimbursing, maybe that could be, a smaller project or something I could ask her about too. So take a minute to look those over. In the meantime, we need a 5-minute executive session, so then we will come back to this. You can still look at those. But we need a 5-minute executive session for, what would that be? Contracts. For contracts, keeping in department heads and the city attorney.
I'll make a motion for executive session, 5 minutes from 6:54 to 6:59 for contracts, keeping in the attorney and department heads.
Yep. So we have a motion by Neil Oglesby, to go into executive session from 6:54 to 6:59, keeping in department heads and the city attorney.
Second.
Second by Bob LaTurner, all in favor?